Hi, I'm Cozy Isle, an Isle of Souls locked hardcore Ironman. With a few exceptions for preparation, I'm going to be locked to the Isle of Souls, only able to use local content to train my skills, gather equipment upgrades, and progress the account. Starting with my bare fists, I'm going to punch, trap, thieve, and wage war until I've earned all the stats and gear I want. My account goals are simple. I want to earn and equip 3 pieces of rare armor on the island: the Dragon Medium Helm, the Soul Cape, and Dragon Plate Legs or Plate Skirt. These are all lofty goals for someone who's never tried a Snowflake Ironman and also has an 8 to 5 job. I'm also going to try to obtain best in slot or near best in slot for all of my other equipment slots. I also want to get my stats high enough to engage with most of the content available on the Isle. There are a few exceptionally rare drops that I'd like as a bonus, but I won't be grinding for in particular. One of the reasons I decided to try this particular Snowflake challenge is because it's relatively small scale and my goals aren't unobtainably difficult to get. Let's talk about the Isle. The Isle of Souls is a cozy new island, added recently with the Soul Wars minigame. While the Isle of Souls is surprisingly large, most of the isle is taken up by the Souls War minigame and these dense forests around it, so we're only really interested in the outside ring of the island and the minigame lobby area. There's a direct Soul Wars minigame teleport that takes you right to the bank, which is the only teleport or travel option on the whole island, along with the only bank. Right outside the lobby area, there are moss giants, sand crabs, cows, and a surprising number of tools that spawn for free. On the north side of the isle, there are pyre fiends with my best in slot boots, and forgotten souls which drop tons of herblore supplies. There's a dungeon too, with stronger monsters and 2 varieties of dragons. The dungeon holds a unique feature to the Isle of Souls, a chest which uncommonly rewards a dark key, which opens the dark chest for incredibly valuable loot. This dungeon is dangerous, but the rewards inside should be worth the risk. The goal is to kill iron dragons for their 1 in 512 Dragon Plate Legs or Dragon Plate Skirt drop, and to play quite a lot of Soul Wars for the Soul Cape and Dragon Medium Helm. The rest of my gear will come from Soul Wars, Implings, the Dark Chest, and crafted myself. The Soul Wars minigame has a requirement of 40 combat and 500 total level, which are pretty easy requirements, but they'll take me a few more days to finish. One last topic before we dive into the island are my preparation exceptions. To tell you the truth, I'm not the only Snowflake Ironman with the idea to lock myself on the Isle of Souls. There's a whole clan chat and Discord server of us, which I'll link in the description. All of us are deciding for ourselves what unique exceptions we allow, whether to make it soul-crushingly difficult or do a bit of work beforehand to make life easier. The main exception that nearly everyone does is complete Druidic Ritual, a novice quest which unlocks the herblore skill. The chest in the dungeon requires 28 thieving to pick the lock, and with no other thieving training options on the island, I personally decided to quest and train my thieving up to 28 before entering the island. The only other way to train thieving, or any other skill I can't directly train, is to rely on random events which occasionally give XP lamps. A lot of other Isle of Souls accounts did not do this exception and are opting to lamp to 28 thieving first, which is perfectly fine for them to do. Personally, that much lamping doesn't sound very fun or engaging. It's mostly twiddling your thumbs waiting for genies or dunces to hand out freebies. Besides, all of us need to lamp Slayer up to 30 to kill pyre fiends, since there's absolutely no way on the island to train Slayer. My final big exception is starting Dragon Slayer for the anti-dragon shield and being able to drink anti-fire potions. This isn't necessarily required, but killing hundreds or even thousands of dragons without an anti-dragon shield sounds miserable and dangerous. I'm going to try to stay as a hardcore Ironman for as long as possible, but I'm not great at staying alive, and I'm not committed to being a hardcore forever, so odds are good that I'll be a Greyhelm peasant before you know it. Alright, that's enough preamble, let's start this account. I thought I'd be clever and name myself Isle of Souls, but it turns out everyone else had this idea too, so later I changed my name to something more unique and fitting. Cozy Isle. I really do think this isle is really cozy and chill looking. I created my account, made an old man, got slapped by the tutorial island rat, and got to work. First step is rushing quests for Dragon Slayer and earning enough cash to buy a house. I got scammed by the Lumbridge cook, sheared some sheep, poisoned some fish, pretend poisoned a lady, exposed a hoax plague, murdered some perfectly innocent, healthy sheep, flinched a bear, you know the drill. Once I had 32 quest points, I bought a house, started Dragon Slayer 1, and claimed my pretty anti-dragon shield. I made a mistake during this prep. I thought the lowest level hunter animals on the island were coppertail birds at 9 hunter, when in fact crimson swifts are on the island at 1 hunter. So I completed the Varrock Museum quiz for 9 hunter and 9 slayer, which ended up being unnecessary. Account ruined, sorry guys, gotta start over. Then I did a quick bit of thieving at the Varrock tea stall. With all my prep and exceptions done, I teleported to Soul Wars, dropped everything except my hardcore Ironman armor and anti-dragon shield, and now the account can actually begin. My first challenge is having no food, no weapon, and no tinderbox. I walked to the north side of the island and started punching rabbits, cause they can't hit me back. This gives me a safe place to train before I have any food, but without an axe or a tinderbox, how am I supposed to cook all this delicious rabbit flesh? Well, I mean, I could light fires for myself from my main, but besides that, you can actually cook food near the Pyrofiends in the forest fire that they started. There's also a campfire here by the plank spawn that's closer to the bank, but that's less exciting. Early on, I forgot that normal imps could drop tinderboxes, and was waiting until I had the hunter level to catch young implings barehanded. So I smacked some imps until they gave me a tinderbox. I want to rush the dungeon as fast as I can, but the lockpick success rate is pretty bad. I can get a lockpick from young implings, which improves the thieving success rate. Implings also hold a lot of combat and skilling upgrades, so clearly I should start training hunter immediately and grabbing low-level implings. Look, they've even got the traps here just sitting on this table for free. How suspiciously convenient. Oh, well, that's weird. This is probably a bug. This sort of thing has happened before in newly updated areas, so hopefully that'll get fixed in next week's update. Until then, I can lockpick the chest in the dungeon for the same traps, but getting down there is pretty risky right now. It's not too exciting, but the next step is to get myself some combat stats so I have a better chance at staying alive. I punched sand crabs till I was level 20 attack, strength, and defense, then I punched ghosts until I had balanced 30s. I managed to get a small fishing net from the Forgotten Souls, so I started fishing until I could catch cod. You may notice that even into the 30s, I'm still unarmed and just punching or kicking enemies. The weapon selection on this island is pretty miserable, and punching is one of the best weapons until I'm strong enough to kill moss giants for their mithril sword, or manage to steal an adamant scimitar from the dungeon chest. Eventually, I'll get a rune scimitar from fire giants, which will be my best in slot, maybe forever. But until then, my next weapon upgrade is a steel longsword, which is counterintuitively worse than my fists because it attacks 20% slower. Okay, I've got some health and basic combat stats. I'm not totally useless against enemies now. It's time to do something properly dangerous. Enter the Isle of Souls dungeon, run past aggressive skeletons, demons, and dragons to lockpick a chest that would rather not be opened. The run to this chest isn't too dangerous if you're careful and you have food. It's pretty easy to tag enemies and run past others before they can hit you. The whole dungeon is single-way combat, so it's pretty safe as long as you don't disconnect or walk too close to the iron dragons. Trying to open this chest with bare minimum requirements and no lockpick is frustrating. It's instant almost every time. You fail this chest so often. Whenever I actually open the chest, the loot is usually just coins, which is a commodity I actually don't need much of at all. Some gems, some herbs, and thankfully a mithril axe or pickaxe, which are my best in slot skilling tools for quite a while. A fun part of trying to open this chest is I need at least 25 seconds of run energy to get past everything safely, and at permanently locked level 1 agility, that takes ages. This will get a lot easier once I get a lockpick, but my only way to get a lockpick is from young implings, and I need bird snares to start Hunter, so it's a bit annoying to get started. No matter how many laps it takes, I must get a bird snare.
Please.
Yes! We got a bird snare! We got 2 bird snares! I got it. Bird snare obtained, and now I can start training Hunter. Just like that, we've unlocked our route to better gear and skilling upgrades in no time. Next episode, we trap birds, start catching implings, and enter Soul Wars.